Section 3, Heredity and Environment Interaction, the Nature-Nurture Debate. The learning goal in this section is to explain some of the ways that heredity and environment interact to produce individual differences in development. How do you untangle what aspects of development are due to genetics and what aspects are due to environment? Behavior genetics is the field that tries to answer that question. A common type of study done in behavior genetics is twin studies. With this kind of study, you compare the behavioral similarity of identical twins to that of fraternal twins. Fraternal twins are no more genetically similar or different from each other than regular siblings. They just happen to be conceived at the same time. But since they're twins, you know that differences between them aren't due to differences in age or prenatal conditions because they're the same age and shared the same womb. So you can compare two people who are 100% genetically identical to two people who share only 50% of their genes. Another type of study is adoption studies. In adoption studies, the behavior and psychological characteristics of adopted children are compared with those of their adoptive and biological parents. You can also compare siblings who were raised in separate adoptive households. All of this helps researchers tease apart what traits seem more strongly influenced by genes and what traits seem more strongly influenced by your environment. Even with twin and adoptive studies, it's still hard to deal with the complexities of heredity-environment interactions. There are three ways that heredity and environment can be correlated. Passive genotype-environment correlations occur because biological parents provide the rearing environment. For example, a parent who is intelligent and loves to read might provide a lot of books to read and spend time reading with their child. As a result, the child might become a skilled reader, both because of their inherited predispositions and also their book-filled environment. Another correlation is evocative genotype-environment correlations. These occur because a child's genetic tendencies elicit stimulation from the environment that supports a particular trait. For example, a happy, outgoing child elicits more smiles and friendly responses from others than a fussy child. Finally, active or niche-picking genotype-environment correlations occur when children seek out environments that they find compatible and stimulating. Niche picking refers to finding a setting that is suited to one's genetically influenced abilities. For example, you might have one child who is shy and one child who is outgoing. The shy child actively avoids social situations, making them even less social, and the outgoing one might actively seek out opportunities for socialization, making them even more socially adept. Heredity-environment correlation views, the heredity-environment correlation view focuses on how our inherited traits can influence the environment in which we find ourselves. More and more, however, we are also realizing that our environment can actually influence our gene expression. Also, genes and environment can interact in ways that make things happen in ways that neither the gene nor the environment alone would have done. This is referred to as the epigenetic view. Studies of gene by environment interaction look at the interaction of a specific measured variation in DNA and a specific measured aspect of the environment. For example, one study found that individuals who had a short version of a gene labeled 5-HTT-LPR had an elevated risk of depression only if they also led stressful lives. Having the gene alone didn't lead to depression. Leading a stressful life alone didn't lead to depression, but the interaction of the two did. Apparently, this gene causes a person to be more reactive to the stress hormone cortisol, which is fine as long as you're not constantly bombarded by cortisol from stressful life circumstances. So we are the products of both our heredity and our environment. The genes you inherit, the way you were raised, the activities you pursue, the dietary choices you make, the friendships you cultivate. These are all part of the complex tapestry of influences on how you have developed so far. And you're not finished. We can each author a unique developmental path by changing our environment.